Well, you know what this movie does? It takes a simple premise you've seen a million times before, however, adding interesting characters to play the parts. Does it work? But I can promise you, there's one crowd that will not like this film. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Guns and Moses. Was this about pretty simple premise? You have a Jewish rabbi. Are all rabbis Jewish? Anyway, he is at a dinner, someone gets shot, and now it's not just him because they're thinking, wait, it's a hate crime, someone killed a Jew, but now it's like, oh, now it's more than just that, it's more than just that, it's more than just that. So is it something sinister with this plot about land and a highway system in California, as well as quote unquote clean energy? Or is it as simple as white nationalists trying to kill the Jews? So, did I like this film? I thought it was an interesting, fun little film that does its job. It's an hour and a half. It knows what it's trying to do. It knows what it's doing with the characters as well as trying to do something different, but the same at the same time. So think about the positives. I do think for an indie film, it looks great, it has good acting, and it's an overall well thought out premise about a Jewish rabbi. Of course, rabbis are always Jewish, you know, not knowing what he should truly do with guns and should he protect himself or is it more about God? But then there's a point where it's like, you know what, maybe I should learn how to shoot a Glock. And I'll say one thing, when they're on the shooting range, you could tell they're firing real guns because the shells, casings are coming out of the Glocks. And you're like, thank you, thank you, thank you for a movie to actually show this. However, later on throughout the movie, when it's the final quote unquote battle, those kind of go away. So at least I'll give benefit to the doubt for a low budget movie for trying to be as realistic as possible in that realm. Also, it's not just revenge film, it's also kind of a who done it about who is going after these people that are creating this, solar panel field in California and what different entities are, like the turtles, the birds, and things like that. And I do think it's interesting that they do bring that up where yes, even though quote unquote solar and wind is maybe better for the environment to an extent because there's birds, there's turtles, there's other things where if you put these solar panels and wind panels out there or in the ocean, other animals are going to die because you are hurting their ecosystem at the same time. So, like I said, when you're looking at this movie, I think the acting's good. The look of the movie's pretty good. Yes, you can tell it's low budget, especially there's this one gun shootout scene in the desert at a solar panel field. And when the solar panel blows up, you're like, okay, that's not the greatest CGI and or blow up effect. But I'll give this movie a benefit of a doubt for being an extremely low budget movie with only being in 74 screens worldwide. And I think it does that job. I kind of joke that when the new mayor, which all we think is probably going to be, will probably hate this film for what it represents and the characters themselves. Also the squad members as well. So if you are like the pro-Palestine crowd, I hate to say it, well, I don't hate to say it, but you're not going to like this movie because 75% of the people in this movie are Jewish, and that might trigger you to watch this movie. I'm just letting you guys know through and throughout. Same thing with October 8th, and then when I watched The Encampments, completely different crowd. I watch any movie. October 8th was way better than The Encampments. But that's, like I said, I'm just going into it just forewarning you that if you are part of one side of this, you're not going to like this movie and what it represents because you're like, oh my gosh, a Jewish rabbi with a gun, how dare he? It's like, well, he's trying to protect his family at the same time. And I do think it does a good job, and there are some funny jokes dealing with, the rabbi's uniform and having a sidearm. I think that is funny when it's trying to do it. But like I said, it's a simple whodunit revenge film of, trying to figure out who this is. Is it the white nationalists? Is it corrupt politicians, etc., going throughout this film? And there is an American History X moment in this movie where like, oh, is it going to go there? It's not as graphic, but it's like, yeah, we're about to do some, hate crime stuff in this movie. And Christopher Lloyd does make a little bit of appearance in this movie about, the interesting aspects of like being Jewish, probably in the Holocaust. And probably, after the Holocaust, there's a good line where it's like, I haven't believed in God in 80 years because of the Holocaust. And it's like, I could see that because it's like, how can this happen and what makes it okay? Which is very interesting with the Jewish population as well, with the Holocaust happening and watching three identical strangers. And you're like, you guys were just tormented / experimented on, but you're doing these experiments to yourselves. It's just a very interesting aspect when dealing with that. I know it's kind of left field, but dealing with this movie. So Guns N' Moses is a low budget crime thriller whodunit with a story you've seen before, but kind of a twist about who these people are and some interesting elements. It's low budget. It looks pretty good. They got some good acting throughout this film. So you could say, yeah, you've seen it a million times before. There are some inaccuracies with this movie. But like I said before, for a low budget film, how it looks, the acting, and just the overall experience, I had a pretty good time. So Guns N' Moses will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 70%. We'll see what the critics' news scores gave this one. So there's 7 critics, and we have, let's see here, a positive, negative. So is that 6 positives? Okay, 6 positives, or sorry. 5 positives, 2 negatives, and that puts us at a 71%. Pretty good overall. 71-70. That was my dog. That was Mickey. I had to wave at. Chase like here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of these Futontopia. You Blue Tony and Snake watch have a great day. I don't care if you watch this today, tomorrow, week from now, month from now, year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. Were you close to one of these 74 screens? Let me know down below.